The next issue I'm going to talk about is related to the dangers of not using a double-blind procedure. Greathouse and Quivira found that the administrators who knew who the suspect was also performed a higher proportion of what they called biasing behaviours. Biasing behaviours refer to anything the administrator does that might prejudice the eyewitness towards identifying the suspect, remembering that the suspect may of course be innocent. However, even if we use a double-blind procedure so the administrator doesn't know who the suspect is, biasing behaviours can still be a problem. For example, it's likely that the eyewitness will assume, given the police have bothered with a lineup in the first place, that there's a good chance that the perpetrator is present. That is, their judgment will be coloured by the expectation that the criminal is somewhere in the lineup, and their job is to choose the person in the lineup who most closely resembles the criminal. In a classic study by Roy Malpass and Patricia Devine of the State University of New York, they found that when a lineup was presented without a perpetrator in, an innocent person was identified as the criminal nearly 80% of the time. So, how should we deal with this? Fortunately, this is one problem for which there appears to be an easy solution. It turns out that simply instructing the witness beforehand that the person they saw committing the crime may or may not be present in the lineup is sufficient to undermine this expectation and substantially reduce the chance of a false identification. That is, we unbias the lineup instructions by simply telling eyewitnesses not to expect the perpetrator to be necessarily present. In the study by Roy Malpass and Patricia Devine, they found that simply instructing people that the perpetrator may or may not be in the lineup reduced the rate of false identifications from 78% to 33%. This type of evidence is why overall it is recommended that unbiased instructions, in which it's made clear that the offender may not be in the lineup, should always be used. That is, eyewitnesses should be explicitly told that the correct response to the lineup might be to say that the criminal they saw is not present.